All right, hello everyone. I'm going to quickly focus in here on this soprano line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the seventh and eighth grade sight reading example for this coming week, and I'm just going to focus in on the soprano line. Notice seventh and eighth graders, I've gotten rid of that bass line for now. All the gentlemen are following the bass clef here, this one line all together. All the altos are on this line right here, and all the sopranos here. And again, this is just for seventh and eighth grade. Sixth grade, you have a different example, but what I'm going to talk about still applies to you. So the two big things that we're having, or I should say the three big things we're having the biggest difficulty with is first off, finding do, how to solfege from that point, and then the sight reading. So the three really important components we want to get down. So first off, this is what's most important to us to find do, this little flat right here next to our time signature, which is 4/4. So our two rules are follows. The last flat equals fa, or the last sharp equals t. Well, we have no sharps here, so that rule doesn't really apply to us right now, but we do have a flat. So the last flat equals fa. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit and not get blurry like last week. Look at that. That's a crystal clear picture. Great. Okay. So as you can see, and I'm going to try, and I know this never works, I'm going to try and draw a circle. Let's see here. Here is a circle almost there. Wow, that is not a bad circle. Okay, let me go back to my pointer. So I want this here. That flat, that line it's on is fa. In this example, this line, this middle line will be fa for the entire example. For altos, it's this line. And again, for gentlemen, it's all the way down here, or you can just count your way up. Again, sixth grade, I'm sorry I'm not using your example. I'm just trying to give one example for everyone to go off of. So if this line is fa, remember we just count backwards from fa, line, space, we go just a space right down where this note is, and now we're on mi. So we have mi, same space, still going to be mi. That means this line will always be fa, this space will always be mi, and so on and so forth. But now we want to go to this note up here, which for this is a jump. But if I just think about it in relation to this line, which we said is fa, I know one above fa must be so. So if you're someone who wants to go again and find, a piece of paper, write 5 lines on it and write in do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. And then you keep referring to that like I would help you with on the board, please do that. Don't feel like you have to somehow do this all in your head. I'm a very visual learner myself. I need to see something. So you're going to keep that going all the way through again. So if we have fa on this line, we say this is mi, and this is so, we're going to go right back to the line which is fa. The biggest issue that some people have, choirs, is that some people like to go the wrong direction. So if I said this line was fa and I went down one, they might accidentally call this so. And what they did is they went the wrong direction. Or say I'm on this line and I go up one from fa, they might accidentally say mi, which again is the wrong direction. Okay, now let's change gears and quickly remind yourselves that this right here is a quarter note, a filled in black note with a stem. This right here is a half note, a hollowed out note with a stem. Doesn't matter what direction it's going. This is a dotted half note, a dotted quarter note. Has what looks like a flag. It's an eighth note. And then our whole note is a hauled out note with no stem. Those are the 4 kind of notes you'll ever see in these examples. We'll never see anything else. Obviously, I can add a dot to something, but it doesn't change that it's still a half note. It just has now a dot on it. Okay, so let's quickly go through and count a couple of these measures. So again, I could go through and say 1. I could say 1. I'm not going to draw because it'll be terrible. There's a 1. I could say 1, and I could say 1. So I know I have quarter notes right in here. So I'd have 1, 2, and then I'd have a 3, and then I can just type out baby 4. Because remember, if I have to have, let me erase this here. Everything is in relation to this time signature. We have 4 beats. That top number tells us how many beats are in the measure. Bottom number tells us what kind of note gets the beat. Remember, we could take that 4 out. Let's see if I can do it. Take the 4 out. It's big enough. I won't mess it up. That's so bad. Put a line over it. That's not bad. Put a 1. Okay, so I'm critiquing myself here. And that's a quarter fraction, which means a quarter note gets the beat. So 1, 2, 3, just type out the word baby 4. Remember, this dot adds half the value back to a note. So if I have a half note originally, we said that was 2 beats. Half of that must be 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So again, we're going to put a big 1 and then just type out baby 2, 3. And then we end back on 4. You don't have to type out big 4 or big 1. I just assume if you didn't write the word baby, you know it means the big version of the number. Now let's go to this last little measure here. This, actually, for the most part, people aren't messing up, maybe because we've talked about it so much. This is that dotted rhythm where we have the 1, 2, and 3. So if I wrote this out, and again, I wish I could, I guess I'll try one more time. Here's my last attempt at typing something out. 1, here we go. Baby 2. That's not bad. Doesn't quite look like 12. And so remember, and it's kind of hard without having the board in front of us or a chart, this dotted quarter note, and let me spotlight it. This dotted quarter note is really 1 beat and a half. If I got rid of that dot, I'd have an 8th note right here. Because there's a dot right there, the 8th note kind of gets absorbed into it. So it's all of beat 1. We have the 2 there because it's the beginning of beat 2. And the and still falls under this 8th note. And then we just go right on to 3, 4. So it's one of those things that's really easy to see and I think understand with the visual, but if you're just trying to map it out in your head, it's kind of confusing. No one else I think had any issues past it. Look how it kind of stays with that. Good on you, program. Okay, and I'm going to leave that. The only other thing that we need to make sure we do, if I'm in 7th or 8th grade, is just making sure you're counting the rhythms right. I mean, the measures right. So I see one system here. I see one system here, this collection of stabs. And I see one system here. Make sure you count how many measures are in each system, and then you move on to the beginning of the next, just like you would a book. And you go to the beginning of the next, just like you would a book. Okay. If anyone has any more concerns or issues, I realize again, I can only go over this so slowly. So if anyone has any specific concerns or issues with this and they're just still not getting it, and you'll kind of know in the next week here, I'll start going over your assignments and actually grading them based on accuracy. You'll kind of see where you're at in the ballpark. And if you're like, man, I really thought I had it and apparently I don't, please reach out to me. It's really okay. I really want this to be something ingrained in you. This isn't something that just applies to choir or band. This is anything you want to just do in life with music. If you can get this framework down, you can sing or listen to and break down anything you want all on your own. And that's the ultimate goal. Okay. Thank you, choirs.